Before we begin the January studio vlog, I wanted to share some footage from an outing that actually occurred mid-December. My girlfriend and I decided to visit the Frick Museum here in Pittsburgh together during their folk art exhibit. We both loved the exhibit and I found it incredibly inspiring, and despite running out of time in the December vlog, I still wanted to share it with you, so I included it here. I won't talk over the rest of these clips, so sit back and enjoy this month's studio vlog. I remember this one from last time.
This is cool.
The Arts and Supplication. Finishing the quilt. Oh, they're the presidents.
1964. You think it's silk though? They must have had.
She must have had some money, yeah, or her family did.
Dude from Fountain Shakers to Pennsylvania. She and her husband moved to defend the house. However, Peter's business as a cattle dealer frequently took him out west, leaving Mary on her own for long periods of time to contend with 5 children to manage the household. She was a menace of academic economy, in the streets, tastes of popular culture, seeking greater economic opportunities. Okay. It's beautiful.
Can you imagine hand stitching a quilt like this?
I mean, to be fair, if this is what you want to do,
You might as well go all out.
I'm gonna call the story of short was killed in a bar brawl. Oh my god. His fall the night.
It's in Reading, so you're right. Reading is near your parents.
Yeah. I thought so.
Yeah, like I said, I think I was thinking of York.
Okay.
No, I know. But look at the like the bricks and everything.
Yeah. Sarah Allen was 104 years old when she died in 2008. Although she lived long enough to listen to the account of America's first African-American presidential candidate. She was born early enough to experience the aftermath of the Reconstruction era while growing up around Hershey, Glenn County, Alabama. A love token for Sarah Newman envelope. Valentine's Day may have taken its original inspiration from the ancient Romans who celebrated a fertility feast in the middle of February. However, the tradition of sending love tokens in America was popular. Handmade Valentines could be exquisitely elaborate, taking the form of intricate The amendment they gave them to read the vote was
20.
Richmond, California, a small city in the Bay Area where many black kids settled the bottom part.
Yeah.
Where he's like, my mother was my great grandmother made patchwork quilts. My great grandfather collected junk and resold.
Okay, so it is January 5th, and I am finally back to work. I've been trying to come back to work for a couple days. Tuesday I tried, and we spent most of the day replacing the battery in my girlfriend's car. It was severely corroded and all sorts of issues. It took us like 4 hours to replace it. Maybe not 4 hours, but it felt like 4 hours. And then yesterday, I spent all day editing the 2023 bullet journal setup video. I had already started editing it, but it's been taking so long. It's finally going to be live on Friday, which will have way already passed for you. It'll probably be several weeks ago, but I'll link to it, so if you're interested, you can check it out. And yeah, I am currently listening. Hold on. Oh, sorry, my knee needed to pop. Oh, it feels like there's popcorn in my knee. That's not good. I don't know what's wrong with it, but I'm gonna hope nothing serious. Today is, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I am currently listening to the book Persephone Station by someone who I can't remember, by Stina Licht, and it's narrated by Maria Liatis. This is what it looks like. I'm using Overdrive, although I do believe the Overdrive app is going to be closing sometime either this month or next month. They're switching all the way to Libby. The same company owns both apps, so they decided to just focus on Libby, I guess. I don't know for sure. But the reason I decided to film right now is I ordered some David's tea back in the beginning of December, like I think the 8th, so almost a month ago now, and it's wet because it's wet outside, but I thought I would open it up and show you what I got. I think pretty much everything I got was Christmas flavored, but or themed. You know, the flavors were themed around Christmas, but I don't really care. It's still going to taste good. So the very first thing we have is Gingerbread Blondie. And I didn't get a whole lot of any one thing because I've never ordered from David's Tea before. So I wanted to... Ooh, it smells good. I can smell it through the bag. I wanted to try it out. Try out a couple different things, see what I like. And most of these are exclusive, I think, to Christmas time. I may have gotten... It looks like I may have gotten a few free things. I don't remember ordering this much stuff. Alright, so that was Gingerbread Blondie, which I got 50 grams of. And then we have Jingle Bell Chai. Love me a good chai. That's 2 ounces, which is also 50 grams. They're all the same, like, weight, it looks like, on here. I don't know why this one is listed as 2 ounces, but I guess I should be telling you what's in them. Okay, this first one has apple, ginger, pineapple, mango, candied ginger, sugar sprinkles, white stars, sugar sprinkles, gingerbread men. Yeah, that sort of thing. It's an apple-y, gingery tea. And Jingle Bell Chai is white chocolate and spices. And it's low caffeine. It's a black tea. I think this is a fruit infusion, it says. So, not like, it probably doesn't have any caffeine in it, I wouldn't think. Yeah, caffeine free. For a 16-ounce cup of water, you'd want 1 to 2 spoons of it. Perfect spoons, I don't know what that means. So then we've got another Jingle Bell Chai. Oh no, it does say I ordered 2 of them. I don't think I did that on purpose. I don't know why I would have ordered 2 of something I wanted to try. But yeah, so that's the same thing as the other one. And then we have Elf Help which is green tea, black currant, orange peel, papaya, apples, cranberries, coconut, natural flavoring. So yeah, and this is medium caffeine. And then we have sugar, pear, fairy, apple, rosehip, peel, pear, raisin, sweetback, blackberry, leaf, fennel, elderberry, bean, peel, lemon balm, fig, cinnamon, rose, petal, and nutmeg. And then finally we have, if I could stop rolling, Nordic berry, which is apple, carrot, hibiscus, lemon, verbena, rosehip, peel, sea, buckthorn berry, sweet blackberry leaf, natural flavoring, cranberry and orange flavoring, red currant, cranberry slice, lingonberry, and cornflower petal. And this is caffeine free. This is caffeine free. So yeah, that's what I got. I'm very excited. It all smells really good. I think you can see it. I am wearing a shirt that Julia got me for Christmas. I've worn it like 3 times already. I really like it. It says ban. What does it say? It says, ban the fascists, save the books. And this was actually something I saw on Instagram in one of the ads that you get. And I don't usually buy things from Instagram ads. They're not usually anything I'm interested in, but I saw this. I was like, I need it. So I asked her for it for Christmas, and she got it for me. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I need to clean my office. I got it started, but didn't finish it at all. We had some friends over on Christmas Day to have a meal with us, so everything that we needed out of like the first floor and out of the kitchen and the living room and everything just kind of came upstairs and landed in here. So it's more of a mess than it would normally be, but I am a pretty messy person, so a mess isn't that surprising. It's worse than it would normally be. So yeah, that's where I am. I've been doing some social media stuff. I'm probably going to go do some reels as well. I think I'll do that until, well, no, I was going to say until lunchtime, but it's a whole hour until lunch. It's just now 11, or will be in a few minutes. So maybe I'll clean first, and then I'll make some reels, and then, you know, have some lunch and go from there. Okay, I think you can see me. I have my cup of tea here, my David's tea, and I think this is the gingerbread blondie, and if it is, I grabbed the right one, and I chose this one because the UPS truck just went by. No, not because the UPS truck went by, but, oh, it smells good. My stomach's kind of upset right now. I kind of got some indigestion and fun stuff like that, so I thought that trying something with ginger in it might help. And it looks really, like, clear. I steeped it the minimum recommended amount of time. I said 5+ minutes. I did 5 minutes, but we'll see. If it's too weak, I will steep it for more time next time. It's not too weak. Definitely say it could go for longer, though. It is good. Yeah, it's good. It definitely needs more time, though. But that's okay. I'll do that next time. That was a fun first experiment. Ooh.
Adulting. Something
So much fun.
Yeah, but it is fun. So how are you?
I'm pretty good, all things considered. So this is a package I got in the mail today from an Etsy shop. I ordered some candles of famous trans women, and this is one of them. I had to order from 2 different makers because neither maker did both, which is fine. And this is from the shop The Mutinous Mermaid, and this is their thank you card. On the back it says, "Hello, thank you so much for your order. Please feel free to leave any feedback. Heart, Dio." Dio or Dia. I think it's Dio. And then we have a sticker that says The Mutinous Mermaid on it. That's cool. So this, if I'm remembering correctly, based on the size, shape, and where it came from, is the Marsha P. Johnson candle. We have some bubble wrap I can save for another time. I have so much bubble wrap. Someday it'll come in handy. Very graceful. Recycle that. And we have the candle. It's really cute. I like it a lot. It doesn't smell like anything, which is good. I have too many scented candles, so I can't light more than one at a time or their scents will clash. So I believe this artist designed the sticker that they put over the candle, and I'm really excited about it. It's really pretty, and I feel like it's a very good drawing of her. I feel like a lot of people, when they draw Marsha P. Johnson, they don't draw her quite right. I feel like they follow an illustration so much that it almost stops looking like her. I don't know how to explain it other than that, but this, at least to me, really does look like her, and it's nice because it's not the exact posing of the picture that people usually use as reference, so it just kind of, you know, the artist created their own pose so that she fit the like the sort of saint pose that you get. So yeah, there's that. So the next order we have here is from Goulet Pens, as the label says. It is a small business. I think they're counted as a small business. It's a business that sells fountain pens and ink and all that sort of like accessories and stuff. So I'm gonna pop it open. That's the receipt. Yeah. Throw that out. And I got a couple things from them. I wanted a pen that I could use in my bullet journal, in this guy here, dedicated like specifically to that, because a lot of the fountain pens I have, they all have specific purposes, or I don't really like using them. I don't think there's any pens that I have that I really like using that don't have a specific purpose. Also, this thing is covered in dust. It's a little frustrating. Whatever. So I got a Blow Pop. No, a Tootsie Pop. It is Strawberry Kiwi. I got a sticker. They always send stickers. This one's a bottle of ink that has a little winter scene. The art is by Inky Converters. Here is, I bought a converter, because the pen I bought is not a plunger. I think it's a, oh, I'm going to say it's a, maybe it'll tell me. Oh yeah, it's a cartridge pen, which is not what I want. I don't really like cartridge pens. So this I have a converter for. So this is a Pilot Platinum Pre-Fount pen. Or no, it's just Platinum. It's not a Pilot pen. I don't know why I thought it was. It's a Platinum Pre-Fount fountain pen in the graphite blue colorway. And it's the 0.5 millimeter, so it's a fine point, I believe. I don't think that's extra fine. And then we have what I am affectionately calling the Blachai pen, which, I don't know, this is a little bit niche, but there is a stuffed shark you can get from IKEA, that like a toy. And his name is Blahai, and he is approximately this color. And he's very popular with trans people, particularly trans women. But yeah, so I saw this, and you may or may not know my girlfriend is trans, so I just kind of had to get it. Not necessarily for her, but she can use it if she wants. I don't know, it was cute. It made me think of her, so. It was only a couple bucks, but apparently these pens are actually really good for the price that they are, which is nice. So yeah, I got 2 pens plus a converter for one of them. And this has a sticker on it. I think it's really cute. Let me see if I can get this open to show you a little bit better. Maybe not. And there's tape on it. But this one will be, like I said, specifically for my bullet journal, and it'll be nice to have a pen that I hopefully really like using in it. Set that stuff aside for now, but lid snaps on, and it's the plastic case. It's a slightly see-through, very dark blue. It A, matches my brand colors, which is nice, and B, goes with the bullet journal, which is nice. So now I can just put it through this loop. Excuse me. See? And they can stay together like that, and I don't have to worry. So yeah, that's what I'm up to right now. I need to go through some mail and some bills and figure out what I'm paying, what my girlfriend's paying, what's junk mail, all that stuff. So very fun and not really business related, but then after that I need to set up my social media for the next week or so, and I also need to get a video filmed for YouTube for Monday, I think is when I'm going to post it instead of Friday. I've been wanting to post them on Fridays, but given the fact that my December vlog really didn't do very well, I think I'm going to switch back to Mondays. They seem to be the better day, at least for me, posting-wise. So yeah, I'll talk to you later. I have something exciting though to show y'all. I ordered some stamps on like Friday or Thursday, really recently, and they came in the mail already. They're from Rubber Stamp Champ, and one is a little snail. Maybe. Yeah, one's a little snail, and it says Snail Mail Stet Studio on it. And the other one is my logo. And up until this point, I have been using something else that says Stet Studio on it for all of my packaging. And I changed my branding more recently since then, and it didn't really match anymore. For one thing, I was using purple ink, so purple's not one of my brand colors anymore. It was initially. It was a yellow and purple type scheme, but now it's blue, red, yellow, and white. Essentially, they're all kind of not bright blue, bright red, bright yellow. You get the idea. But they're all shades of that. So I got a stamp pad when I ordered some other stuff for stationery and for my bullet journal. But I ordered a stamp pad that matches at least pretty closely my brand colors. So I'm going to try these things out, and I'm really excited. So if you give me a second, I'll show you how they look. Okay, we have a piece of scrap paper here that was part of a quilt pattern I printed out, and then it printed twice. So got our ink pad here. We've got our little snail mail stamp. This is what it looks like on the stamp, if it'll focus. Maybe not. There we go. It's going. All right, I'm going to stamp it. Get nice and inky. Ta-da! That looks really good. It's not perfect because the letters are so small, but I just wanted something fun for a project I'm working on, which you might already know about. I don't know by the time this video comes out. So this one's pretty big, so I kind of have to, go around a little bit, but ta-da! That looks great. I am super happy with these. Look at that. So now I can stamp that on bags and my mailing envelopes and all of that. And I drew this on, well, it's not Photoshop, but it's a dupe of Photoshop, essentially. It's called Adobe Photo. Not Adobe, oh my gosh, it's called Affinity Photo. That's right. So, yeah. Looks good. I'm really excited. That was kind of a boring thing to come in the mail, but I'm still excited about it. So I have something a little bit different to open with y'all today. This is a vintage necklace I bought, and bracelet, I bought from a business here in Pittsburgh called Sanctuary. I do lots of markets with them when they have them. I've done their markets. I've been in their shows, their gallery shows. Yeah, they are a vintage store and a tattoo parlor. They focus on being woman-owned and, a safe space for queer individuals and women to shop and have tattoos made. So I saw this on their Instagram, and I usually never buy anything straight from Instagram. I don't. But I saw this necklace, and I was just like, I have to get it. It's so pretty. And it came with a little card, and it says, Noah, thank you for shopping small. We hope you love the new treasure. Cheyenne at Sanctuary Pittsburgh. So let's open it together real quick. And I don't remember anything about it. I wish... Maybe it says on the receipt. Let me look. Yes, it is a Damascene filigree bird necklace and bracelet set. I paid $50 for this. Here's the bracelet, which I wasn't as huge of a fan of as I was the necklace, but it is still very pretty, and they were selling them as a set. So, yeah, there's that. And this is the necklace. The necklace was what I really liked. And I was gonna say I don't actually have that much vintage jewelry, but that's not true. It's all costume jewelry, but I have a lot of vintage jewelry that was my grandmother's and some that was my mother's. And yeah, it's really pretty. It looks like the lobster clasp is broken, but I can put a new one on there. It will not be a big deal. It probably won't match. All of the jewelry findings I have are silver, but honestly, you're not really gonna see that. So yeah, I can fix that. And yeah, I'm excited to wear it. It would actually not look too bad with what I'm wearing today, I think. But I'm not going to worry about that right now. I got a lot going on today. I'm not going to play with that right now. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that. I thought that would be fun to open together. Alright, so I am working on some writing, so I lit my writing candle. I'm not doing anything particularly fun today. No novel. I need to get back into that. It's been probably over a week now since I have done any of that, but I'm going to be writing the script for my Skillshare video. It is going to be about learning the major arcana in tarot, and I have it all, not scheduled, but like outlined in here in my bullet journal. In the back, I have a section that's called my commonplace book, where I just put anything that really doesn't fit anywhere else. I may eventually make dedicated spreads for this, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do with it this month, so I did it in this commonplace book section. So I have everything that I want to talk about in here, but I want to create a script, at least for the parts where I am not a talking head, like having a conversation like now, hopefully more eloquently. But for, maybe voiceovers, that sort of thing, where I can sit and read the script. And even just more of a fleshed out outline. And I can put things in the order of... not a screenplay. What do you call those things that they have for movies where they thumbnail out all the action? What is that called? Storyboard. So I can have everything in the order of the scenes I'm going to film them, because I don't always film in the order that you see them in the video. It depends on what, if I need a specific prop for 4 scenes, but they're not chronological, I will film all 4 of those scenes at once, so I have the prop, that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm going to get started on that. And yeah, it's not an exciting type of writing, but it is technically creative writing, because I'm writing the script. So I lit my little writing candle. Besides, I kind of want to get back into the writing vibe, so I figured that might help me with that. And yeah, that's what I am doing right now. This month's vlog is kind of going to be all over the place. I was having a hard time getting back on my feet after the New Year and all the holidays and stuff, and I think that's pretty normal for people. I'm not worried about it. It just made things a little more challenging. So yeah, I'm going to get started. Hello, welcome to the recording studio. I do not yet have the noise-reducing curtain that I want to put up along this wall yet, because it opens up into the rest of the room. And yeah, I just don't have it up yet, so it may still be a bit echoey in here. I do have my lav mic on, so hopefully that'll help. But real quickly, we're going to do an end to the January vlog, which obviously you know because you're watching it right now, but I thought it would be fun every month to talk a little bit about the books I read, just because I can, and I want to. I've been reading more this year, and I think it'll be fun. So I started actually a reading art journal, and this is how I keep track of what I've been reading. So the first book I read was The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa. It was translated from English to Japanese in 2019. It was translated by Steven Snyder. I listened to the audiobook. It was 9 hours and 8 minutes long. It's 288 pages. I gave it 3.5 stars out of 5. It's a very literary novel. A lot of people seem to just label it as science fiction, which I didn't think was quite accurate. I'm not a huge fan of literary novels, so that was the big thing. And it was good, it was more of one of those things where it's just not for me. The basic premise is the narrator, the unnamed narrator, lives in a town where things disappear. Like, for example, birds disappear, photographs disappear. That is to say, their memories of them disappear. So they will have to get rid of these things, burn all the photographs, etc. And then they just don't really think about them anymore after that's happened. But one of her friends has the ability to remember things, and the memory police, which enforce all of these forgettings, are after anyone who can remember. So it's basically that story, and it's a really beautiful and haunting portrayal of censorship and the police state. And yeah, I think I will read you this last little paragraph that I wrote about it. I think the reason I struggle so much with literary fiction is how non-logical it can be, as well as how still the narrative can be. It's like if meditation were books. I do think I need to keep reading it, though, and feeding my mind. So yes, that's kind of how I felt about the book. I started it on January 6th, 2023, and finished it on January 12th. And like I said, I read it as an audiobook. I rented it on an app of some kind. I forget, from the library. I forget whether it was Hoopla or Overdrive. Those are the two apps I use the most right now. The next one I read was Persephone Station. That was also an audiobook from the library, from an app as well. It is 512 pages. It is 11 hours and 55 minutes if you listen to it. It was published in 2021 and written by Stina Leicht, Leicht. I think I pronounced that correctly, but I'm not sure. It was very good. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. It is a sort of space opera, I guess was a word that was used in reviews of it, and I think that's a good way to put it. It's a very overarching story. It has alien beings in it, and humans, and struggles between the government and the underground, as well as these heretofore unknown non-human sentient beings, these aliens. It reminded me a lot of actually one of my friend's books. My friend named Ryan Fletcher, who writes a series of sapphic space novels, and it really reminded me of her books. And I love this book because everybody was queer for the most part, and one of my favorite main characters was non-binary, so I'm always a fan of that. I finished this on the 5th of January 2023. I don't know when I started it, but I finished it then. And that means that these two spreads in my journal are out of order, but that's okay. And then I read To Be Taught If Fortunate by Becky Chambers, and this is a sci-fi novella. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. This book wrecked me in the best way. I loved it. It was so good. I started on the 11th of January and finished it on the 14th. It's a very short book. It is 176 pages or 4 hours and 30 minutes, and it was published in 2019. The idea is a group of scientists travel through different planets that could possibly hold life, exoplanets, so planets outside of our solar system, and they're not necessarily looking for a new home for humanity or anything like that. They're traveling to understand the universe beyond our solar system. It is a bit literary, I'd say. There isn't a whole lot of action. It's very character driven, so if you're looking for something that's super action packed, this might not be the book for you, but I really enjoyed it, and the 4 main characters are all queer, I do believe, or all LBGT+, at any rate. There is one character that is a trans man, but I do not know whether he is straight or bi or queer at all. So I do know that everybody is somewhere on the LBGT+ spectrum, in the alphabet soup, as it were. I also rented that from a library app for an audiobook. You can tell what I really like to do. I like to rent audiobooks from my libraries here in Pittsburgh. There's a great library system. And then I read Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. Again, audiobook, rented it from a library using an app. And this one is more of a space fantasy, kind of like Star Wars. It's not like Star Wars, but when I say space fantasy, another good example of space fantasy is Star Wars. So it takes place in outer space, but there isn't a whole lot of science that it relies on. There's just enough that kind of explains things, but you don't really think about it, which was something that was very different in To Be Taught If Fortunate. There was a lot of science, and you could tell that the author had put in a lot of time and a lot of effort to research all of it and make sure it was accurate, or at least based on what we know now, it could hypothetically be accurate in the future. But this book, not so much, but it was not a weakness of this book. It was, that wasn't the main point of the story. The science wasn't really a big point. Not so much, again, the fact that they're in space. The fact they're in space is more of just a secondary setting thing rather than a main plot point. And this book is about two men, Kiem and Jinan, and they are put into an arranged political marriage, and just about their personal struggles and personalities and how they kind of work together and what the fallout of them being in this political marriage that neither of them really wants to be in is. And this art spread, I'll show all these at some point. I'm thinking maybe quarterly I'll show the spreads, but I've just filled it with fan art that people had done. There's a lot of really good fan art out there for Winter's Orbit. And I'm actually reading the sequel to this book now, and I left a spread blank for that. I did a 1-page spread instead of a 2-page spread, which is funny because I gave it a 5 out of 5. Oh, I didn't tell you the stats. I gave it a 5 out of 5, 432 pages, and 15 hours and 29 minutes. It was published in 2021. I started this on the 14th of January, finished it on the 19th. I really liked the book, but I didn't have that much to say about it, so I figured I'd put the sequel next to it. And of course, things won't be in order, but they already weren't in order. And then we have A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson, which I started on the 20th of January, finished on the 22nd. Again, an audiobook I rented. It was 304 pages, 5 hours and 8 minutes, and published in 2022, so this is a very recent novel. This was marketed, or at least the way I heard of it, was called a Dracula retelling, which I wouldn't call it that because, and this is just me being nitpicky, Dracula is one of my favorite books. It did kind of take the point of view of a wife of a vampire, like a vampire wife. That's something that comes up in Dracula, but it doesn't follow Dracula's story like I was expecting it to. It has its own story, which is completely fine. Just don't go into it expecting it to mirror Bram Stoker's Dracula. Not the movie, the book by Bram Stoker. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. It was really good. It just wasn't amazing, I suppose, at least in my mind, And I did really enjoy it. I had fun putting together the spread, although I haven't written my review in yet. And we have The Butcher and the Wren. And I picked this book because I was kind of in a reading slump, like writer's block, but as a reader. This book is completely different from all of the other books I read. I've read a lot of science fiction, a lot of fantasy. This is a murder mystery crime novel written in 2022 by one of the hosts of a true crime podcast, so it has that sort of vibe. It was written by Alina Urquhart, 256 pages, or 6 hours and 23 minutes. It was a book I listened to, and I rented it from the library. I started on the 24th of January, finished it on the 27th of January, and I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars, so my lowest rating thus far. I just didn't like it. It didn't feel like a very good book to me, but that might just be because it wasn't for me. It felt like there was no reason we should care about the main character. There was nothing that endeared the killer to us either. It was a dual point of view. And obviously he's a serial killer. He's not, not supposed to be your best friend, but, a lot of good writing will make you, at the very least, sympathize with him a little bit. Oh, well, that's really bad, but he still shouldn't be killing people. There wasn't even really anything to say, well, that was really bad, so I didn't really enjoy it. It did take place in Louisiana, which was a fun change of pace, and I did enjoy that. But yeah, I didn't enjoy it, wouldn't really recommend it. And then the book I finished most recently is This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El Motar and Max Gladstone. It was published in 2019, and it's 208 pages, or 4 hours and 16 minutes. This book is actually one I owned. I read it in a physical copy. I have it here. So yeah, you can see it's a very small novel, very literary. It's a science fiction dystopian literary novel, I would say. I saw somewhere, I think it was online, I don't think it was in here. Oh, no, here it is. Rebecca Roanhorse, who is an author who reviewed this book, said, "A lovely fugue. You're really in it for the feels." And I really think that's a great way to describe this book. Like, a lot of people were complaining, oh, I didn't understand what was going on for most of the book, which I didn't either. But I don't think you're really supposed to. Again, it's very literary. It's not genre fiction. So there's that to consider. And I think I haven't given it an official rating in here yet, but I think I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5 just because that's what feels most accurate. It wasn't like I can definitely see why some people felt like this book rocked their world the way to be taught if fortunate did for me, but it was good, but it wasn't amazing, at least to me. I will say I did enjoy the twist ending. I thought that was really good. I guess it wasn't so much a twist as just how they wrapped everything up, because you get to a point where it's like, this is the ending we're presenting you. This is the end of the line. Every bad thing has happened. You know, what are we going to do? The all is lost moment. And I really like how they wrapped everything up and resolved everything. It felt unexpected. I don't know if I would call it a twist, but it was definitely an unexpected way of resolving. So now we're going to quickly go on to books I'm currently reading. Right now I'm reading the book The House of Sundering Flames by Aliette de Bodard on a library e-reading app. I'm using an audiobook. I am 90% of the way through it. It's pretty good. It's the third in a series, so I would recommend reading the first one. Basically, the premise of this novel is angels like fall into earth. The concept of like Lucifer, etc., fallen angels have fallen to earth in the early 20th century, specifically in Paris. I don't know if there are other places they live, but the book takes place in Paris. And it kind of had a alternate history version of World War I, where the fallen, as they're called, were the ones that invaded. And there's a big focus on Southeast Asia, Vietnam, China, specifically Vietnam, because there are other characters that are Vietnamese in the book. And that's the first book. The book I'm reading right now is kind of, I don't know how to explain it without spoiling what happens in all the other books. So basically I'm going to say, if the concept interests you, go ahead and read the first one. I've enjoyed both the first two books in this series. I am also reading, this is one of the books I've been reading the longest. It's probably the oldest in terms of publication date as well, but this is El Rio by Javier Herrero. It is a book of poetry. One of my goals for this year is to read a Spanish language book every month. Did not make it, did not read a single Spanish language book in January, but I'm going to pick this one up and finish it hopefully in the beginning of January. I am on page 27 out of 76. It looks like there's some references in the back. I did start reading this back in probably October or September of this year, maybe even later. There is a big introduction that talks about his writing and his life, and it is all in Spanish. He was a Peruvian poet that died in the, I think, 1940s. He was very political, as a lot of the Southern and Central American poets and artists of the time were, and he was assassinated when he was, I think, 21. And I learned about him when I was in my undergraduate degree. I fell in love with Javier Herrero during our Spanish literature and poetry class, and I really, really did enjoy what we read in class. So when I was studying abroad in Peru in 2017, which are the oldest videos on this channel, you can go check them out if you want. I bought a volume of his poetry and I just never read it, so I'm going to try and read it this month and then maybe pick up another one. And now we have Tarot for Change, using the cards for self-care, acceptance, and growth by Jessica Dorr. I am 75 pages in. It's a total of approximately 370 pages. Very good if you're interested in psychology, self-care, any of that, and tarot. Would recommend. It keeps blowing my mind in terms of the cards. I keep learning things about the cards that I didn't expect to, or reading points of view that I didn't expect, so to speak. This one is another one I've been reading for a while and have been putting off. It's got a bookmark that is a napkin. Lovely. This is Waking Up White and Finding Myself in the Story of Race by Debbie Irving. It's got cat hair on it because it's been on the coffee table downstairs. It is really just, at least as far as I'm not very far into it. I'm 29 pages in, total of 272 pages, so I'm not very far. It is a woman talking about her life as a white woman in, I think, the 60s and 70s in New England, that region of North America, and just how her childhood really did not teach her anything about race. It did not, it made white the default, and she didn't realize until she was older that white wasn't the default. So it's really talking about this memoir of her life and talking about how, I don't want to say how her parents failed her, but essentially how her parents failed her in preparing her to understand race relations and things like that. And it has a lot of really great journaling prompts in it, which is why I'm so slow going through this, because I have been trying to do all the prompts as I go through. And then finally, we have my one library book that I rented out. It is Ocean's Echo. It's the sequel to Winter's Orbit, again by Everina Maxwell. And it doesn't look all that far into it, maybe a third of the way through it. I am on page 164 out of 462. So it's a longer book. I've been reading it at night before I go to bed. It's really good. It does not follow the same two characters, so if you only want to read this one, you could. You wouldn't need to read the first one first. It follows two characters, Tanal and Surit. Tanal is able to read minds, and Surit is able to control minds, and they've been put together unwillingly, and again, it's what happens as they work together as a pair. I don't know if they're going to become romantically involved. They probably will, would be my guess, but I haven't gotten that far yet, so I can't tell you. But yeah, that's what I have been reading this month. Thank you for joining me. I hope the footage isn't too dark and this isn't too long. This is something I'm going to try and do every month just to share what I've been reading. I think it'll be fun. Again, thank you so much for watching this vlog. I actually have no idea how long it is because I haven't even started editing it yet. All that aside, I hope you enjoyed, and hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, like the video, all that silliness. And thank you for spending some time with me in the Stet Studio this month. Goodbye.